And we're back. This is Elliot and Jose coming to you from Dreamland Comics in Schaumburg, Illinois. Thank you for joining us here on CCW TV. I have to say that we do have some of the more refined comic book fans as part of our community. I'm always very appreciative when they comment on the boards. If you haven't seen this, there's 2 times on the CCW TV blog where there is this great interaction between Jose and viewers. First, you have Manic Mondays, or Mellow Mondays, where you have a selection of music videos that you put out there, you know, just kind of reflecting the mood of the day. And there are a bunch of regulars on the boards who find their own videos and post them as well, which is really cool. You also have a musical interlude, which we'll have from time to time. Same thing. Jose will post a couple music videos that might not be the most widely viewed, or even if they are, they're nice. It's a nice selection of things to see, and you guys come right back and you'll post your own music videos. So it's a cool interaction there, and I get a kick out of just sitting there and clicking through the videos and looking at the different song selections that are on the channel and in the comment board. So you know, if you haven't been seeing that, you got to check it out.
Yeah, I've actually, it's been pretty, like, since we started the blog and we're getting more people commenting, it is like, this kind of sounds like a cliche, but it really is becoming like a community of people, a community of regulars, and everyone is very respectful to everybody there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've really had to take care of the trash that we used to get on our old videos.
The
like,
trolls,
yeah. So it's nice to know that, you know, the people like being there, and I get a sense that people who comment on there are getting to know each other also through all their comments and the discussions that we've had. So.
Which is, it's true. It's very nice to see that. And I enjoy a lot of the things I've been seeing there on the blog just to get the interaction. The question of the week a while back from, I asked our viewers to cast us in CCW TV the movie, because I had no idea, you know, who could play us. There are some really interesting choices, and actually some really entertaining. Iron Muskrat came up with he cast us in different types of movies. You know, you had the Hollywood blockbuster, you had the anime, you had the kung fu flick version, had you know, casting choices for each one of those. I don't know, who was it that said that they have to see you being played by Nick Cage? Was it Demar who said that, or Pobra?
It was one of
us. Had to have you played by Nicolas Cage. So yeah, Horatio Sands to play me.
Yeah, that was my pick to play.
Which was actually a pretty good pick, but doesn't work anymore because the guy's lost so much friggin' weight. The guy has lost a lot of weight. He looks good, and which is to the point that he's too skinny to play me now. You know, so fuck that. What happened to all the fat guys that I could look up to? They're all losing weight. Man.
Maybe you should go on that Biggest Loser.
Biggest Loser? Many people say I already am. I already am.
I'm one of those people. So you should be an astral for that show.
Thank you. Another thing that gets thrown our way is we get links to different kinds of postings, news around the internet. And Locus Mortis pointed us in the direction of the CBR board and the
Robot 6.
Was it Robot 6?
Robot 6 is
part of CBR.
It's part of CBR, but yeah.
The issue of the Kirby estate filing for a copyright, the copyright to revert to the Kirby estate of many characters that Jack Kirby created for Marvel Comics. And Marvel Comics...
Even co-created. I think they're just looking for a partial trademark.
Right.
I mean, obviously, because he co-created a lot of those at Marvel, but yeah.
And then you have Marvel suing, essentially. You know, the Kirbys aren't suing anybody. They're just filing for the reversion of the copyright, which is something that any estate of any author of any creator can do after so much time from the creation of said property. But Marvel, because that's, they just got acquired by Disney for a couple billion because of that library that they have.
And if anybody knows about extending their trademarks,
that's
to
Disney.
the nth degree, it's Disney.
So Locus Mortis posted that, sent us a link to it. Locus, I know you said that was something that made you even angrier at Marvel. And for those of you who don't know how angry Locus Mortis can get, the guy can get pretty angry. What I found most interesting after reading that article was looking at all the posts, all the comments underneath that.
Kurt Busiek's comments were great.
Kurt Busiek essentially being the voice of reason.
Yeah, I know.
And a one-man crusade for creators' rights. And just the level of the dialogue. He was trying to keep the dialogue at a respectable level.
Yeah.
But, of course, you had the fanboys who are going, the Kirby family is greedy.
Yeah,
they don't want, oh, no.
Yeah, what do they deserve?
Yeah,
why,
they don't
why,
get...
yeah.
Right. And another one saying, well, they can get whatever they want as long as Marvel doesn't lose the characters. Because that's the level of contempt that you have within the comic community. Contempt and ignorance, really.
Yeah.
As long as I get my comic books.
Yeah, it's all about the individual.
Yeah. As long as I get my comics and my characters, I don't care what happens to the people who created those characters.
The irony is that these are the same people who are calling the Kirby estate greedy.
Yeah.
And it's all about them. Well, those are those people who are commenting, I want to read my fucking Fantastic Four. They can't have it. It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah, it is. So,
yeah, and Busiek was posting on there a lot, and the guy just kept it at a very respectful level. I'm like, man, this guy is he just knows how to roll with the punches, and he's just trying to keep everything civil, and he did an awesome job. I read it. I read there's probably 70 posts by the time I looked at it, and I read all of them. I was like, man.
I got to give Busiek this because he was fully. He never got snarky.
Mm-hmm.
He was very professional. He just laid things out. And when there was this one douchebag on there who was saying, "Stop with your fancy lawyer speak and tell us how you really feel. You don't tell us how you're feeling."
But he did tell you how he's feeling. He was saying that Jack Kirby did get screwed. I mean, I think he actually came out and said that in one of the comments.
Oh, he did. But that's because listening is a skill, and reading and understanding what you're reading is also a skill. It drives me nuts from time to time when we have people getting on. It happens every once in a while. People get on us on our boards about things that we've said, and they're completely misrepresenting what we've said.
Mm-hmm.
It's because you're not listening. Because, and mind you, this is very rare. It's very rare that this sort of thing happens. But every once in a while, one knucklehead decides he wants to jump in and take us on. Which, hey, if you want to get into a spirited discussion and disagree with us, I'm all for it. By no means...
It happens quite a bit.
Oh, it happens quite a bit, and I don't mind it. I like it. I relish it, in fact. But make sure you know what the argument is and be ready to see it through. Don't just come in and say, well, you just hate this, and that's why you do that, and then jump off. Because I've had several occasions, you can find these peppered throughout the boards. Somebody comes on board, says... well, you just hate Bendis, and you don't like him, and that's why you hate it. And I'll even respond and say, okay, this is what we said. This is why we didn't like what he wrote. Now, what's your response to that? You never see a response to that. You never get anything after that. So it's like, why?
Because they were just, it would be one thing if you insulted them back, because then it would just be a shouting match, but I don't think they're used to that. I've actually... try to tone down my rhetoric on the responses, and I've actually done the same thing where it's like, well, okay, it was about that whole somebody had commented about when I was ripping on Image. It was that whole, I mentioned this comment last time too, and it's like I read Youngblood, I love Youngblood, blah, blah. It's like, why you just ripping on this book, and I've seen the books that you guys like Iron Man, and those books actually all suck. All the Marvel books suck. And I responded, I'm like, all right, man. I'm like, I completely respect your opinion of what you think. I respect your opinion that you think that the books that we like suck. That's fine. Mm-hmm. Well, but in return, you should respect our opinion as the same. This is a two-way street. Never heard from the guy again.
Never heard from it. And on top of that, if you want to argue it, tell us why the books that we like suck. Tell us. Just say. Go through it and say, okay, this is why it sucks. Because when I read this, I didn't understand when this happened. Or I didn't buy the way that character acted. Stuff like that. Don't just come in and say, it sucks, and you suck too.
A little side note to a comment that I just got today on the blog. I don't know if you ever read it, but there was a Hulk Red review that I wrote in Marvel Fanboys.
Yeah, it's
and the guy, someone commented today saying, "You're an idiot if you like that book. That book is ridiculous. You have such terrible taste." And I can't help but take it as a compliment because
you channeled fanboys so well they believed you.
They believe me, and I wrote back. I'm like, I hope you know that this entire review is written as a joke. Because every other review that I've done on this book, I totally trashed it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of funny.
It was. I think I remember seeing that post.
But getting back to the whole Kirby thing, so we can wrap up this segment. So yeah, the stuff that's going on, it's like, in Kirby says on there, in these rallying for creators' rights. And to me, it's like, if you're working at Marvel and you see Marvel doing this, and you're a creator who works in it, what are you thinking? I really would like to know what some of these people... Marvel is treating probably the most respected comic book artist estate like trash.
Right.
Like a nuisance. And if I'm working at Marvel and I'm creating stuff for them and I'm looking at that, why would you want to stay at Marvel?
On top of that, it seems it's the ironic part that DC gives Kirby more credit than Marvel does. We've talked about this in the past, the whole bit about the created by thing, how Secret Warriors now has a created by.
Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Maleev.
Yeah, and Alex Maleev. You don't see that on any other Marvel books, and it's a given.
Well, the Fantastic Four one Hickman's writing does say created by
Stan Lee and Jack Kirby.
Yeah, but I think that might be a Hickman thing that he wants to acknowledge the past and the creators. So
they should do that on all the books.
Yeah, and DC does do that with Superman, Wonder Woman. I mean, Marston gets credit on every Wonder Woman book that gets put out, and
Marvel's being behind the times, and the shame of it is that you have many fanboys who can't get out of their own little insular worlds to see that there is more going on behind the scenes in comics.
But to address Locus Mortis's anger, I'm sorry to say that it's only going to get worse from here now that Disney owns Marvel.
Oh, yeah. No, because Disney's not going to spend $4 billion, whatever it was, and just say, yeah, sure. Yeah, revert copyrights. They've owned Cinderella forever. So. All right. When we come back, we'll have Last Rants. We know you love it. We'll see you then.